All right, one, two, three. All right, welcome back to the Dragon Sangai Player Talks, and we've got a special guest this evening. So, if you'd like to introduce yourself, mate.
Hey guys, I'm Mose masoe, and I was once part of the Dragons culture a few moons ago, and I'm happy to be on the show.
All right, we'll get the questions up now. So we'll just get this started. So, how did you get into footy?
I was a bit of a late bloomer, mate. I started when I was about 12 or 13, um, and two of my mates just took me down to the park, and we just started playing a bit of rugby league, and then ended up playing for the local club, and yeah, it all started from there.
And what is your junior club?
Oh, my junior club is Randwick Kingfishers in Nainai, um, Wellington in New Zealand, and
Yep.
probably one of the biggest names that came out of that club was Stephen Kearney.
Yep.
And it's a pretty small club, but there's a lot of great culture and great people involved in the club.
And what positions did you play?
So I started off at fullback when I first played because I couldn't fit in the scrum. I was at 13. I think I was just under 6 foot, so I was like 5'11" or something. So yeah, I was still pretty tall, but I was a lot skinnier then.
And what was it like making your NRL debut?
It was awesome. I think making my debut was like a dream come true because I only signed 1 year deals when I was at the Roosters. So when I signed my first year, I broke my hand, so I thought, oh, it was all over. I was going to go back to New Zealand, but they had faith in me and they re-signed me for another year. And then the next year, it was going to be my year. It was a big year for myself, hoping to make my debut, but I done my ACL. And then, so that was another year off. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go back to New Zealand. And then they had faith in me again and signed me for another year at the Roosters. And yeah, and then that happened to be the year that I debuted.
And what NRL clubs have you been part of?
So I started off at the Roosters. I was there for 5 seasons. Then I went um, Penrith for a year, and then I went overseas to the Super League for 2 years with St Helens, and then I come back to St George for 2 seasons, but had a really bad ACL injury there, so I didn't get to play any NRL games, um, and then I went back to finish my career at Hokea in the Super League.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you at the Dragons, mate. Yeah, I remember you definitely. You're one of the first players I met, so.
No, yeah, I was pretty gutted. I had a really bad knee injury, and it's pretty. I still talk about it now. I still can't straighten my leg today, even with. And I had about 4 surgeries on the same knee, so yeah, I was a bit gutted. Probably more mentally it took to me because I was still quite young, but yeah, I think I could have handled it a little bit better.
And how did it come about for you to join the Super League?
I was at Penrith, and I just got an opportunity really young to go over, and they needed a prop at St Helens. So there was a couple of guys like Tony Politour just retired at or was moving on to another club in the Super League, and I was there signing. They said they needed a prop like myself, so I was like, I'm ready to go and back myself, and hopefully I could come back and play in the NRL when I'm a little bit older, and that was the case. St George picked me up, and I'll come back, but it just didn't work out. So still a bit gutted about that, but yeah, that's just the way things go.
And what Super League clubs were you a part of?
So I was part of St Helens and Hokea.
And what was it like making your Super League debut?
It was Super League debut was awesome. Um, it's the atmosphere over there is a lot different to what it's like here in Australia. It's really loud, and really, really like the crowd really gets into it. They start singing your name and all that stuff. So yeah, I was just happy to get through the game with no injuries when I got over there, and yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, I got into this watching the Super League not about a year ago. So
Yeah,
I go for Warrington. I go for I'm a
yeah,
Warrington fan. So,
yeah.
but
Warrington's always been. I've always liked Warrington as well. Just because when we played the World Cup, we were based in Warrington with Tor Samoa, so yeah, it's always got a special part in my uh, special part of me is in Warrington.
and what coach made the biggest impact on you, in your opinion?
To be honest, mate, I reckon all of them. I've had like a lot of great coaches that if I didn't learn the lesson at the time, um, I've learnt it now. When I look back, when you have time to look back in your career, I can see the lessons that they were trying to teach you. Um, and so there's, I was really grateful to have Brian Smith as coach. Um, he gave me my debut. Then I was lucky enough to have Nathan Brown, and then I had like Ivan Cleary as well as a coach, and then and at Hull KR I had Tony Smith, who's Brian's brother, and the last one there was oh god, Tim Sheens.
Yeah.
So a lot of great minds. So I can't really pick one single one out, but they're all great coaches, and also Mary down at St George. So they taught me a lot, not just to do with footy, but for life as well.
And who's your favourite NRL player of all time?
NRL player of all time will be Ali Lawatiti. So he was the one who got, when the Warriors started in '96. I think that's when we kind of started watching it. It wasn't too big where I was living in Wellington because it's a big rugby union place. But once they started the Warriors, everyone could see Ali Lawatini. They used to call him the Michael Jordan of rugby league. With all the flick passes, and he was the one who and all the offloads and things like that. He could do some crazy things. So yeah, I
Yeah,
loved him.
I've watched his highlights, and he'd be really great if he was still playing for if he could come to St George, if he was still playing, he'd be a
Yeah,
perfect fit.
yeah. No,
But
it'd be awesome.
and what was it like representing Samoa?
Oh, that was a dream come true for myself, and it was just something I'll never forget. Could see my parents crying, when the anthem, even myself crying. It's just a lot of pride and a lot of culture, a lot of for such a small nation to produce a lot of rugby league and rugby players is a great thing, and it was great that we were able to represent our families.
And what was your thoughts on the Pacific Championship this year in
Yeah,
23?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It was nice that New Zealand, someone else other than Australia, won it. So it'll be
Yeah,
good for the next. It'll be good for the next one. Be more exciting. Um,
yeah,
Australia need to be tested, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
It just
I don't
makes
go for Australia, so
it makes the competition a lot better when there's more competition at the top end instead of just one team winning all the time.
And who was your favourite person to play alongside in the international with Samoa when you played for Samoa?
Uh, it was probably my roomie and ex St George player, Lisan Armel.
Yep.
Yeah, so me and him used to be roomies on tour and stuff. So I used to love playing with him because I knew that if I missed the tackle, he'll be there to cover it, and vice versa.
And who was the hardest player to tackle in your opinion?
Probably in probably Sam Burgess. Yeah, I've yeah, he was probably the toughest. Just he was just so strong but agile at the same time. So he'll put the late footwork on you and he'll bump you off just because you're loading up for a shot and just couldn't get him.
And at what point in when you started playing footy did you think you could make it like professional? Like,
It, not until um, I got offered a couple of clubs over here in Sydney to come and visit. That was probably the only when it first hit me that I could probably make this a career, and that was when I was probably 17.
and what NRL team did you grow up supporting?
So I supported the Warriors. So the Warriors. That's when I first started watching rugby league.
And how did you prepare for a game?
Um, it's not the normal thing. I'd get up, have breakfast, I'd go for a swim. And depending on the time of the game, if it was like a night game, like a 7:30 game, I'll have a little nap during the day, trying not to think about the game, and then I'll get up and have. Once I get up, I'd have something else to eat, and then just start preparing for the game. Then
And how how is the injury coming along, mate? After you left St Helens and that, because I saw about the serious injury you had with your spine and that.
yeah, no, that's going all right. My neck is it's on the mend, but it's one of those things. If I could explain it to people, it's like your spinal cord's like the brand new iPhone. So it's got the really good messages. It's got really good features. It could send signals everywhere. Whereas my spinal cord is like the Nokia 3220. You probably won't even remember that, mate. It's,
Yeah, I had a
yeah,
Nokia. I had a
yeah,
couple of Nokias.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not as efficient and it's not as good, but it just does the job. So it's still it's so I won't ever get to my spinal cord back to being like the latest iPhone, but I'm just happy it's working and it's not disconnected.
What was the proudest moment of your career?
Um, Probably representing Samoa. That would probably be it, and winning the 2013 Super League with St Helens.
And what was the biggest difference you noticed when you started in the Super League compared to the NRL?
Uh, At first, when I first moved over to England, the game was a lot faster there. It was like they love to attack. They like attacking footy. It's kind of like what the footy is now here in Australia. It's it's a lot more It was faster there, and they didn't really like to control the rucks, if kind of know what I mean. But now
Yeah.
the games are kind of aligned, and it's a lot more fluent.
What was your favourite and worst part of a preseason?
The worst part was the beginning, and my favorite part was the end.
And what's your favourite cheat meal?
Ah, I don't know. I can't. I liked like American barbecue kind of meats and stuff like that. That's probably what it would be my cheat meal.
And who's the most funniest and most annoying teammate you've ever had?
Oh, I've had a few of them. I've had a few of them. There's probably the most annoying one was this kid in Hokea, and his name was Ryan Shaw. And God, he was annoying. He'll do some hilarious things, but he's a good laugh. But man, he was annoying.
And with the Super League, what was it like winning the grand final with the Super League for you?
Well, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was in Old Trafford in Manchester. So you got 70,000 fans there, and it was against our rival Wigan, and it was amazing. It was such an amazing day. Um, yeah, and I was so happy for St Helens then bringing the trophy back because they went a few years there where they lost the grand final a few times, and that was like the first one that they won, and then they lost one, and then they won like 5 in a row or 4 in a row or something like that.
And what team are you most excited to see in 2024?
Uh, so,
NRL team.
so I'm living up in Sunshine Coast at the moment. At the moment now, so it's for us. My son, my youngest, goes for the Dolphins. So we're really looking forward to seeing how they go again this year. And there's a lot of new Dolphins fans up here, but I'm still a Roosters and a Panthers fan, and a little bit of a St. George fan as well.
Yeah. And what signing this year do you think will make the most impact in the NRL?
Oh, that's a good one. I think ooh, the best. Oh, I don't know. That's a great call. I think the Tigers and the Dogs have recruited well over the preseason. Um, like, yeah, I think I'm hoping the Tigers have a better season than last year, and I just want to wish Benzie all the best, and hopefully he can get them firing and get the old Tigers back.
Yeah. So if you were stuck on a deserted island and you could only bring one player with you, who would you bring?
Oh, who would I bring? That's a good one. Um, I'll bring Sean Kinney Dow.
Yeah.
He's pretty handy with coming up with things to survive in survival
So,
situations.
so what's the proudest moment of your life?
Probably my kids, mate. I've always, my career was always about footy and things like that. But when I look back at it, it's a family, and that's the most important thing.
And what's the best advice you can give to a young player wanting to make it into the NRL or the Super League?
I would say to them, just keep training hard. Even if you keep getting knocked back, there, you know, there was a lot of great players that were better than me when I was younger, but I think I was at a young age I was more disciplined than some. So just keep training hard and just do what you love, and just keep giving it your best. And the, if that's what you can give and it's not good enough, then you can hold your head up high and you've given it your all.
What's your other favourite sports to watch that isn't footy?
I don't mind rugby union because I grew up playing rugby union, and I don't mind watching a bit of soccer as well. And
And
yeah,
and what's your favourite song?
oh, actually, I don't have a favorite song, but I got a favorite band is UB40.
Yeah. We know them. Yeah, we can. Red wine. That one, isn't it? That's
Yeah, yep.
yeah. Yeah. So they've only got two questions left for you, mate.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
with your like family and that and everything, what's the easiest thing about your family and the hardest thing with footy? Like being away and that. Like, was it really hard for you, or did it get easier over time?
It was a bit tough. So I had a son in a previous relationship who lived here in Australia. So especially when we moved over to England the first time, he was really young. So trying to come back to Australia, his visa didn't. It was complicated. His visa didn't fall through because of something to do with like both parents not living in the same country. So I couldn't take him over to England. So that was a big choice. That why I came back and went to St. George was so I can be closer with my son. And so pretty much it was more of a it was hard to be away from the kids. Whereas when he got a little bit older and he come over for a holiday and stuff with my mum and my dad, which made things a bit easier. So yeah, it is tough being away from your kids, but it's just a sacrifice that you're willing to do to give them a better future.
If you could give yourself some advice to your past self when you were just young, what would it be?
I would say listen and take in the information when you're younger. Um, it's they're not coaches are not really there to attack you as a coach, and they're there to advise you and help you get the best out of you.
And the final question, mate, uh, do you think you'll meet all your New Year's resolutions this year?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think so. Um, so this year, my New Year's resolution was to um, get back and get active, and and get a job. So finish my studies and get a job. So that's my that was pretty simple ones for myself, and I'm sure I'm gonna knock them over and get back into the workforce and things like that, mate.
So the final question of the show, mate, what is the easiest thing about playing footy and the toughest thing about playing footy?
The easiest thing is the game, the footy game, and the toughest thing is the training, the fitness, and what goes on, because you do all the hard work, and then it comes to the game day, you're just running on adrenaline anyway, and as a prop, you got 15 to 20 minutes just to run havoc and then come off the field and have a rest and then do it again. So, especially impact front rower.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, mate. So when we leave the stream, just don't leave because we'll just have a quick chat before the thing goes off.
All
But
right, no worries.
thank you, everybody, for watching, and just a notification and a shout out that I will be releasing the Dragons Fan Guy stickers very soon. So if anybody wants them, they can message me. There will be a $5 donation, and it will go to the Kids with Cancer charity. So if you'd like the stickers or the pens, just message me as well. So thank you everyone for joining me, and it's been a great interview, and I thank you very much for joining me, mate.
Cheers. Thanks for having me on, mate.
See ya.